Hi, I'm Clinton, a professor at Southern New Hampshire University, and I'm teaching the CS320 class. And one thing I've noticed after having taught this class multiple times is that many students get to the course without a solid knowledge of the Java programming language or the tools that surround that language, things like Eclipse, Gradle, Maven, the Java ecosystem, if you will. And that lack of knowledge and experience really slows the students down and throws a stumbling block in their way, in their path toward learning the primary concepts of this course, which are not development per se, but testing software. Because to really apply the concepts you learn in this course, you have to have a way to apply them. And in this particular course, that way is through Java and the JUnit automated unit testing framework. So if you're not familiar with Java or JUnit, that's really an issue toward learning and applying the concepts. So to help ease that, I've created this series of videos, and I've also created a starter project in GitHub to help you jumpstart your milestone assignments where you will be doing automated unit testing. One resource I want to show you before we jump into this is the course site. So I posted this, and I post this link each week, so it should be in the announcements. And if you go to assignment tips in the top right-hand corner and choose Module 3, then I give you the broad overview. So Module 3 really focuses on these 4 code files. And then I give you 2 options toward completing that. And if you scroll down to code requirements and samples, I actually itemize the individual requirements to be successful in this assignment, and I provide code samples, which I will actually walk you through creating these from scratch in the second video of this series. One thing I want to highlight is when you turn in your project, do not just submit these 4 files. I expect you to zip the entire code project and send that as a zip file in Brightspace. If you only send me these 4 files, you will get a 0. So please send me the entire project. All right, so just know that this is a valuable resource to you with a lot of information on the course site. With that, I'm going to flip over to GitHub. So if you go to github.com/cbush06, which is my username, and then /CS320, you will find the project I mentioned earlier with instructions on how to get going with it. And you'll notice this project has 2 branches, master and starter. The starter branch is the one that we want to focus on. That is where we will begin in the second video. This is what I will show you how to clone to your desktop in just a second. On that note, if you are going to be doing your assignments on your personal computer, I suggest that you skip to the second segment of this video now. This first segment, I'm going to show you how to clone this project and get started in the Apporto virtual desktop provided by Southern New Hampshire. If you're using your personal laptop, please skip to the second segment of the video. All right, so let's flip over to the starter branch and then go to code and select HTTPS. This is the path you'll need in just a second, so copy that. Once you've copied that, flip over to Apporto, and let's go down to the Start menu and type in Git, that's G-I-T, GUI, G-U-I. And I want you to open the Git GUI app. When that opens on your desktop, go to Clone Existing Repository, and then I want you to paste the path you just copied into this text box. Once that is in the text box, let's select the target directory. And you'll notice some very strange things when you're dealing with the file paths on these virtual desktops because they are mapped to shared network drives. And that is one reason we had to use the Git GUI rather than using the bash terminal, which is, in my opinion, much easier. So open Documents, choose Select Folder, and then you need to skip to the end of that path and type in /CS320, choose Clone, and that's going to copy that project from GitHub down to your local Apporto desktop. All right, when that is done, it's going to pop up another window where we can actually manage our local copy of the repository. And what we're going to do is we're going to create what is called a tracking branch. So we'll create a branch locally on your machine called starter, and that branch will track the branch on GitHub called starter. So by switching to that, we'll actually switch to the beginning point rather than what we currently have checked out, which is the completed project. To do that, let's go to the branch menu, choose create. We're going to name your new local branch starter. Select tracking branch and then choose origin starter. Origin is a nickname for the remote repository that is in GitHub. Choose create. Once that's done, you can close Git GUI. Now I want to show you how to import this project that you've downloaded and cloned to your desktop into Eclipse. Once that opens, let's go ahead and maximize it. You don't need to see this screen again, so you can uncheck Always Show at Startup, and then we can close that Welcome tab. Now, let's right-click in Package Explorer and choose Import, or you can go to File and choose Import. It achieves the same thing. And we want to select Gradle, choose Existing Gradle Project. Click Next, Next. And then we want to find that directory you created called CS320 and your documents. That is where we cloned the project. So we'll expand your user menu here. Scroll down to Documents and expand that. And then click the CS320 folder. Choose OK. And choose Next. Click Next one more time. All right, it's done. And then click Finish. And once you click Finish, if you look in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, you're going to see that Eclipse is synchronizing the Gradle project, meaning it's scanning it and determining its structure, dependencies, that sort of thing. So choose Finish and then wait just a moment. You'll know it's done synchronizing when you see the new project appear over here in your Package Explorer. So it finished importing and synchronizing the project. The first thing I want to do to ensure that you have a good start in your project is I want you to make sure you see this Gradle Tasks tab. If you don't see that, go up to Windows, Show View, go down to Other, expand Gradle, and double-click on Task. Now once you have this opened, make sure you expand the CS320 folder under Task. If for some reason this does not populate correctly, go up to your project, right-click on it, go down to Gradle, choose Refresh Gradle Project, right-click on your project again, choose Refresh here. All right, and then hopefully this appears at that point. If it doesn't, that'll be a good clue that you probably want to reach out to me and schedule office hours. But hopefully you had success. It should function identically because your desktop on Apporto should be the same as mine. Once you get this expanded, go down to the IDE folder, expand that. We want to choose Clean Eclipse, so double-click on that to run it. When you double-click, it'll go over to Gradle Executions. Once you see all green checks, it's done. So let's flip back to Gradle Task and run the Eclipse task right underneath that. Double-click on it. And once that completes, now you can go up to your project, right-click on it, and choose Refresh one more time. Now, to wrap up this first portion of this video, we want to make sure that your JUnit test run correctly. So let's go ahead and explore the project. Before we do that, just so you know what we're doing. So first I created a starter file here. And all it does is it has a single method in here called add. It does exactly what it sounds like it does. It adds two numbers together. And then I created a very simple JUnit test. The whole idea is this is a JUnit test. If we can get it to run, then your own test will run. So let's right click on the source test Java folder. Go down to Run As, and then choose JUnit Test. And you should see the JUnit tab appear over here. And if you see green, then you know everything is set up and configured appropriately. You should have no issue starting the second video now. So with that, I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to go into the second segment of this video where I show you how to set everything up on your personal desktop if you'd rather do that than using Apporto. All right, welcome to the second segment of this first video in the CS320 assignment series. I'm going to be using a virtual desktop I installed on my local machine running Windows 11. In this portion of the video, I'm going to show you how to install all the necessary dependencies on your personal machine to run the project so that you'll be set up and ready to go for the second video in the series. The first thing we need to install is the Java Software Developer Kit, or the Java SDK. So open your browser and you can go to Google or some search engine, but what I want you to search is Amazon Corretto. If you already have the latest Java SDK installed, so 21 at the time of this recording, you're good to go. If you don't, or you're not sure, follow along. So what we're going to do is download Corretto 21. That's the most recent long-term support version, LTS version. I recommend against downloading a non-LTS version. So download that. And then scroll down and select the platform that you are working with. In my case, it's going to be Windows 64. So we're going to download Windows 64-bit, and we want to download the MSI version. So that's the installer. You can go ahead and run that when yours completes. All right, then just click next. The defaults are fine. Once that's done, you should be good there. And you can open up your terminal and just verify that Java installed correctly by typing in Java -- version. You should see 21 spit out, and there we go, Open JDK 21, so we're good. All right, the next thing we want to do is we want to download and install the Eclipse IDE. So search Eclipse for Java. You just click Downloads, and what you want to find is the Eclipse, and then choose Download Packages underneath that, because there are many different distributions of Eclipse. The one that we want to install is the Eclipse IDE for Java developers. Go ahead and choose the Windows x86 64 or the one that matches your platform. And then you can click Download. So we'll find that in our downloads. And I'm going to move that to my personal documents because I tend to empty my downloads folder pretty frequently. So I'm just going to move it somewhere it'll be safe. And then once I get it there, I'm going to extract it right in place. So choose Extract All. You can just choose extract, just Eclipse-Java will be a good name for that folder. Choose Extract. All right, now that the extraction is complete, we're going to go inside the folder you just extracted, and you're going to look for the Eclipse executable. What I want you to do is just right-click on that, and we're going to create a shortcut from it. And we're going to drag that shortcut to our desktop so we can easily find it. And you can close that window at this point. So let's just back out and we'll go make sure Eclipse runs. So let's double click on that shortcut that we created. You can leave the default workspace, that's fine. All right, once Eclipse opens, you know that we're good to go. We can close this window tab. We won't be needing that. And at this point, we can just minimize Eclipse. We'll come back to this in a few minutes. The next thing we want to do is we want to install the Git dependency management software, configuration management tool. And so we'll be using Git to clone the project I created in GitHub down to this machine. So just search Git SCM, and you'll see the path should be git-scm.com/downloads. We'll click on that, and we want to install the version for your platform. In my case, it's going to be Windows, so you can download that. You can choose the Git for Windows setup, most likely 64-bit. Once that downloads, go ahead and run it. All of the defaults should be fine. All right, once this is done, we don't need to view the release notes, so you can uncheck that and choose Finish. And we want to go open our terminal one more time and make sure that Git installed correctly. To do that, we're going to type Git and then -- version. And you see that it did install, and you can tell that it added it to our path because we can access it straight from the command line. All right, so we're going to close this. The next and last thing that we need to install before we can move forward is Gradle. So just search Gradle, Gradle, and you're going to choose Install Gradle. If you don't see that, just go to the main website, then go up to Docs, Installing Gradle. And then we want to go down to Windows Installation. We download the latest Gradle distribution. And just choose under 8.8, choose we want the binary only. Okay, do not download complete. That is a huge package. We only need the binary, so click binary only. It will download a zip file for you. All right, so what I want you to do is open the folder where it downloaded. Okay, and as with Eclipse, we're going to drag this somewhere safe because I tend to empty my downloads pretty frequently. So I'm going to drag this zip file into the Documents. Go to Documents, and we want to extract it right here in place. Choose Extract. All right, when that is complete, we're going to go, and you're welcome to delete these zip files now. We don't need those anymore, so we can just delete those. And you can close both of these Explorer windows. We don't need that. Close your browser for the moment. It looks like Windows Defender gave us a warning. And yes, I recommend excluding Eclipse from being scanned. I have noticed that will impede or significantly slow down Java's execution. So we'll exclude that. All right, the next thing we need to do is we need to add Gradle to our path so that you can run it from the command line. So go to your search box and you can type in Settings. We want to open Settings. And then we want to search for Path. We want to edit the System Environment Variables. Another way you can get to this is by going to your Control Panel. So we'll go to Control Panel. And then you can go down to System and Security. And under System, we select System. And again, you can search for Path there. Or we can actually search up here and search for Environment. So we want to edit Environment Variables. So there's multiple ways to get to it, but this is the one we're looking for, Environment Variables. And then you want to click on Path. And you want to choose Edit. And then we want to choose New and Browse. And then we're going to go find the Gradle binary folder. So for me, I saved it under Documents, under Gradle. And you're looking for this bin folder, bin. Choose that, choose OK. Choose OK again, OK one more time. And then close it. And again, let's verify that everything worked correctly. So I'm going to open my terminal or command prompt, whatever you want to call it. And to make sure it worked, we're going to type Gradle version. And if all went well, you should see a Gradle message. Welcome to Gradle 8.8. So we know it's running and it's in the path correctly. We're good. At this point, we can close this. We don't care about the rest of that output. Now, the next thing we want to do is go to your browser. go to github.com/cbush0606, which is my username, /CS320. That is the repository I made for you. Go to code, drop down, make sure you choose HTTPS, copy that path. And now we want to open up git bash. And it should open to your user directory. So if you type in LL, which is the list, you'll see all of these different folders that are in your Windows user folder. We want to go into the My Documents folder. And then we want to we want to clone our project here. So type in git space clone space, and then paste the path you copied from GitHub. And then press enter, and you'll see it cloning that down to your machine. All right, the next thing I want you to do is type in cd, which is short for change directory. And we want to cd into the new CS320 directory created by Git. And then I want you to type git checkout and then starter. And that is all you need to do in here. You can close this. And now we can go back to Eclipse. We're going to choose import project. Under Gradle, choose existing Gradle project. Click next. You're going to find that CS320 folder that we just created by cloning in Git. And then select folder. Choose next, next. Wait for this to turn white and show CS320 in it. Once it shows CS320 here, you know that it is complete. Choose finish. All right, when that is done, the next thing I want you to do is expand this directory here. So go down to IDE, double click on Clean Eclipse. Give that a moment to finish. You know it's done when these numbers stop ticking. Once it's done, go back to Gradle Task again. Double click on Eclipse. Again, wait for the numbers to stop ticking under the Gradle Executions tab. And then right click on the project under your Package Explorer and choose Refresh. Once that is done, expand it. Right click on Source Test Java. Choose Run As. And then choose JUnit Test. You can allow Eclipse. And once you see this green bar here, you know that you are good to go on to the second video. Everything is installed and configured appropriately. Congratulations, and I'll see you in the next video.